Are you ready?
I just.
Hi, Lena. How
Hi,
are you?
Becca. How are you?
I'm
Always
good. Good to see you. And welcome everyone here in person and online to our podcast called
Yes. BMore. Come on.
Unfiltered.
Yes.
We're Unfiltered. So it's a pleasure to have you. We have an exciting event today. We're a little bit of diversity today. So we're going to kick off with a short skit. We want to demonstrate the whole theme for today is the role of barbers and beauticians in promoting sexual health and overall health in Baltimore.
Yes. Because I feel like if we look at the community, we all go to a barber or a beautician, and you know why you're sitting in that seat for 1, 2, sometimes 3 hours, that you're opening and running your mouth as well as listening to what's going on as you're receiving your service.
Absolutely.
So I think today's skit is going to be a good segue into today's thing.
I love all the conversations that happens when I go to get my hair done. It's like people are so comfortable having a conversation. And you know, I have two, well, I keep calling them boys, but they're men now.
Men. We talked about it earlier.
And when they got to be like 14, 15, and said, Mom, you don't need to come to barbershop with us. We can just drop us off and like,
Go
no,
get on home.
no, I want to come. And I would come and sit, just listen to all the conversation. It was one of my favorite things to
They
do.
call it shop talk.
Yes,
right?
yes, I
Shop
love these
talk.
barbershop talk. And we were like in Park Heights, the Ricestown Road. Those are the places that the Master Blade and stuff. That's where we were.
Uh-huh.
And so I just love the conversation. The same thing with the ladies,
The ladies
salons.
salons, you know, the beauty salon, the ladies, it started the wash bowl. While she in there doing her, you know it's coming out, right? She's priming you as she's scrubbing that scalp of yours. She's getting you ready. Like, I'm going to release it. Go ahead, girl. You think about it while I'm scrubbing. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. How do they do that? How do they engage in serious conversation, laugh at the same time?
Because
But
your
not
defenses
making
are down.
errors, cutting hair, trimming everything.
They're in their element, and your defenses are down because you're in a space where you should be receiving. So, it's like,
Well, we can't figure it out because we're not barbers, we're not beauticians. I attempt to be a bit, So they just know their craft really well, and they can have conversations. So, what better way to start with a brief demonstration before we bring in the men? Because we're going to focus on the role of barbers in promoting sexual health in Baltimore City and other forms of health. But before we do that, I think we should introduce ourselves. You know, we have not done that one.
Well, obviously, I'm Delana Watkins. I am the founder and curator of the Women's Wellness Lounge.
Hi, my name is Kat Masu, and I am co-curator with Helena on this wonderful BMore Unfiltered promoting sexual health in diverse communities throughout Baltimore City. And I am the founder and CEO of R&D Associates. So before further ado, let's introduce you how ladies do it in beauty places promoting sexual health. And we have two of our favorite ambassadors in this effort of promoting sexual health to demonstrate how they engage in conversation around sexual health with their clients. So, ta-da!
Take it away. You introduce yourself. So we just know you're the skit. So you go ahead on and take it away from here.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Coach D. Coach D at a nail salon scene. Right. Come on.
How you feeling today, girl?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Let me see them nails now.
Yeah, I've been wearing a lot of press on, so it's a little residue on it.
Okay. I like that residue. School, super spoon. Catch me up now. Come on, talk to me, girl.
So, you know, I'm in college. College is pretty good. I'm maintaining a good grade. I'm trying to stay focused and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's Oh, it's always a little bit of distractions in
Right.
college as well. I've been trying my best not to get distracted, but distractions are at every corner each time you turn your head.
Right. Right. So what's going on? What's going on with the little guy you was messing with? The little guy that you was sweet on.
So let me tell you, girl, let me tell you. So, you know how I met him at the frat party.
Okay.
It was real cool, real
Okay.
nice. We was kicking it, we didn't do anything. But we did other day. And recently we had sex.
Mm.
Yes. And I kind of regret it because now I need to go get tested.
Mm.
Yes, and I tried to talk to him about it, and he tried to paint the picture as if I'm the one who gave him something.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can show you my mind, sure. Let me see yours. And then he gets defensive. He's trying to go around campus, trying to make it seem like I'm somebody that I'm not. So that's kind of like tearing me down a bit. But I've been talking with my homegirls. They've been reassuring me that it's not me, it's not my fault. I'm handling the business the correct way. He's just being immature about the situation. But I just can't believe that I let him get me like that.
And what do you mean by get you? Be specific.
So this between me and you, but girl, he gave me the weed. And he's trying to say that I gave it to him. And I'm just like, I never had that a day in my life for you to sit here and try to say that I gave that to you. All my tests are going to come back negative. This one time to come back positive, after I do it with you. So yeah, and I've been beating myself up about it. Because I've had plenty of people tell me you always use a condom, and I didn't this time. So I just know for next time, I'm definitely going to make sure I use a condom.
Okay. So you went and got tested, right?
Yeah.
You tested, okay. Tell me how you feel right now. Like, how do you feel right now?
Right now, so. Like I feel like I'm beating myself up about the situation because I wish I wasn't here. But I'm also proud of myself that I did go take the right steps to get tested and that I no longer have to worry about the problem. So I'm so. Like I understand it's something that's gonna pass as time goes on, but like I really wish I didn't do it. I'm sitting in regret right now.
So you said in regret, right? Now I want you to ask yourself this question. What did you do right? I understand you acknowledging that you took wrong steps. What did you do right
But
after making the wrong steps?
I went and got tested immediately. I think that's what I did right. I'm holding myself accountable. I went and got tested, and then I'm holding myself accountable. So next time I'm not in the same situation.
Okay. As you was before.
Yes,
So
yes.
have you ever heard of PrEP or PEP before?
They mentioned it, but I really wasn't listening. I was too in my head. Could you give me a little more information about
Okay,
it?
so it's a medicine. It's a virus, it's a medicine let's put you like this. You ever heard of the morning after pill?
Yeah.
Okay, so with PEP, if you have unprotected sex in that situation, then you would go to the doctors. No prescription of this going and let them know that you had unprotected sex. And what that would do is you could cause any type of disease, false HIV. It will stop that from happening. The pregnancy, should I say, I don't want to confuse you because I'm confusing myself, and having these conversations sometimes, I don't have them all the time. So, but with the plan B, that stops the pregnancy. But far as the HIV, that would have stopped that with the plan B. And then that PrEP is beforehand. Sometimes when we're in relationships, we start using condoms, and then after a while we slip up. They have it where you can take the pill every day, or you can go get a series of injections. But I want you to take these pamphlets, and I'm very proud of you, and thank you for trusting me. And please share healthy information, facts with your friends, so that you can help prevent it. So help somebody else. But high fives, thing. Good girl.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, we got live audience. Clap it up. With your fabulous nails. I know, right?
My nails was big.
Nails and knowledge at the same time. So although that was a skit, I'm sure that those types of conversations occur at, again, as we said, barbers, beauticians, nail salons. So although that was a skit, that was a very informative exchange of information.
Yeah.
While you're getting your fill-in or your full set.
Yes. They're ready for Hollywood.
Give me the contract.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you all for demonstrating that. And So I think we, how did they do it, Bob? Because you are
Yep, she did
a
a great
navigator.
job. She did a great
Anything you
job.
want to add about that?
No, absolutely. She did a wonderful job of explaining, right, the situation that she was listening to was correct for Pet because it was after the sexual encounter occurred. So that is correct. And I always refer to it as Plan B because you want to bring some familiarity. And so we've heard of Plan B before. So being able to be relative about that. So the way in which you delivered that information was easy. It was something that she can, simply digest and understand and know. So excellent job. Excellent job.
Yeah, I love how she put it in there. Like, you could be using condom, but then you slip up and you forget to use it. And that's when you pull out the PEP. And PEP is within 72 hours of having a sexual encounter that you need to take PEP. And of course, like she said, PrEP is preventative. So you use it whenever you think you're going to have sex in advance. And be in a program, right? Absolutely. So if you do not know where to go, who to contact, so contact us at R&D Associates, and we will connect you to the or Women's Wellness Lounge. That's where you can find her, and you can be referred to someone that can help you get her up. The other thing is you can do www.prepnavigator.org. Okay. So, and you just enter your zip codes and it provides you with the information. All right. So always protect yourself, condom, PEP, be in a right relationship, talk with your partner. So that, absolutely, communication is so important. All right. So we will go to the next part of our show
Segue
today.
right on in
Yes.
to our More Than a Shop Talk.
Yes.
Come on. And more than a shop. What can I say?
Yeah.
Mr. Stanton and I remember several years ago, sat at a cafe, and I had asked him to meet me, so I wanted to talk about possibilities for collaboration. And right on, he said yes. And that was pre-COVID, I would say maybe like it was around 2016 or so. So Mr. Stanton and More Than a Shop and R&D Associates have been partnering, and I've been working with these fabulous barbers and more. So welcome. So please join us, and there are seats for you here. And we're gonna hover around you, okay, Lina? So I'm gonna give the mic to you first, Mr. Stanton, to do introduction. Tell us a little bit about More Than a Shop. Tell us a little bit about you, and then give the mic to your colleagues, part members of More Than a Shop. It's so great to see you all.
Troy Staten, the founder of More Than a Shop, a network of barbershops and beauticians and nail salons that bring resources to the community in untraditional spaces to address the issues that occur in our communities. The issues that occur in our community with trusted partners such as barbers, beauticians, nail techs.
William Johnson, owner of Charm City Clipper Company, master barber in Woodlawn Security Boulevard area.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Darrell Owens. I'm the owner of Top Notch Barbershop, LLC. I'm also part of More Than the Shop. I'm also a PRP coordinator, and we work with people suffering from mental health illness, substance abuse, and so I'm just glad to be here.
All right, let's see. Now y'all see we got all this talent in the room, okay? So we want to basically start off the discussion with you, Mr. Staten. You talk about why you created More Than a Shop. Just delve into, I think the skit was good to kind of give us some insight as to how that exchange could occur. Give me just a little bit more of why it was you felt that, starting or having a conversation in a barbershop and creating the More Than a Shop concept. Because I think, again, we were able to visually see with the skit that they put on what it looks like and how that exchange occurs. But tell me why you felt the need to create such a organization, or sort of the movement really around barbers and beauticians?
So, brief history. I am a barber. I've been barber since the tender age of 13. I've worked with all the traditional old master barbers through the city of Baltimore and surrounding counties. Um, with that being said, I was with my last mentor, and from there, I moved to branch out to do my own. And from that barbershop, became a victim of gentrification, where I was displaced, moved to another location in Southwest Baltimore. And in 2015, 16, the healthcare industry reached out to me in my location in Southwest Baltimore to bring forth resources in untraditional spaces such as barbershops with Kaiser Permanente for good hair, great health, GHG, and through Baltimore City and our resource partners, and we set forth the pilot. From there, we did 100 and some healthcare screenings across the board. We expanded throughout Southwest Baltimore. In 2018, I became a victim of a senseless shooting. Someone ran into my barbershop. I became a victim, and what had occurred was, through the work that I was doing in the community, from being a barber and forming the trusted relationships as a barber, because we was addressing the health disparities that took place being a barber, you were a trusted individual. And we had brought forth that vicious cycle of not trusting the healthcare industry in the city of Baltimore. With that, we started doing that work. And when I became a victim, the city, as well as my community and other individuals, had reached out and shared such support with me and my family that showed me that what I was doing and what was being done needed to be replicated. With that being said, I reached out to some other barbers in the city, and we brought forth more than a shop, because they showed that what was being done, that I was much more than just a barber.
That's right.
And that brought forth more than a shop, because we're much more. And we had began to be, what was being done in one particular area needed to be replicated. So I had my good friend right here, Mr. William Johnson from Charles City Clipper. He came along, as well as my good friend right here, Mr. Rello, and we fornicated and we started collaborating with other healthcare, mental, emotional, physical, substance abuse, and other entities to address the health disparities in our community. Because what we clearly understood, and what I clearly understood, was that we are the most trusted individuals. We serve people from their first haircut to their actual last haircut. When you're not receiving a phone call from anyone else, your barber or your stylist can call, and that phone call will be receptive. So with the right information and resources, we were able to address those issues with the individuals who primarily do not receive those services, information, or awareness. But with the proper information and training, with that brings forth healthy communities.
All right, so either one of the barbers, go ahead, Rebecca.
That is so amazing. So you changed a tragic situation of being shot to turning that into a movement to create a better situation in the community. Yes, and I remember when you were shot and it was on TV and also in the newspaper, and we're so delighted and thank God that you made it through. And thank God for creating that movement of more than a shop. I want to ask you to, what made you want to join? What was it? What motivated you to say, to MTAS?
Well, with me personally, I do a lot of traveling around the country, platform work, educational work in the barber industry. The only thing that I can say that really drew me to Troy in this movement is it's the same Negro, different zip code. The same problems that we're going through in this zip code that we're in presently now is happening in the 17, it's happening in the 18, it's happening in the 22, and you can put that in other states as well. It's the same problems, the same issues that all of us have. And the resources that come through with our clientele is vast. And you have certain barbers and barbershop salons and nail techs that take advantage of it or abuse it or really don't know their really inner working value. To most men and women in the barbershop, some of us as barbers are the only real men or heterosexuals that you can see in their lives at the time. You know, so some of us take advantage of it. We're problems in our community. We harbor fugitives and just things of that nature. But it is certain standards and ethics that are held by certain barbers and barbershops. So therefore, the message can be conveyed to these individuals a lot better. You know, so that's one of the things that really drew me to helping Troy in his vision. Because the same things that happens here in Baltimore City, it eventually happens in Baltimore County. Because we are programmed to send our problems out to the county. Go stay with your auntie. Go stay with your grandmother that lives in the county for that better opportunity. It's no such thing as a better opportunity now in this day and age in Baltimore. It's one Baltimore. Everything that happens in the city, it happens in the county. Everything that happens in the county, it happens in the city. So to merge those resources even on the lowest level of having it come through the barbershops and salons, it really makes a difference in our community.
Again, my name is Darrell Owens, and this is my big brother right here, right? He might sound soft-spoken today, but he's a heavy hitter. And in the community, he's known as an OG vet. He's a veteran barber, right? Who we all have to like pay homage to the people who came before us. And like my brother Will said, when the opportunity presented itself to join More Than the Shop or to be a part of this movement, like it was a no-brainer for all of us, right? I remember when he first asked us to come on board, it was like 30 plus barbershop owners in Baltimore City, barbershop and salon owners. And like, I think that's the first time that we've all been in the same room at the same time. And it wasn't like a competition, it wasn't a show, it wasn't an event. We was there to build and to bond and to network and to like discuss our collective value, right? Individually and collectively. And so from the first day, from the very first meeting, like I was blown away by the opportunity, by what could be, right? Because there's no ceiling on it, right? And then we started working with Rapka and her organization, and we started working with university, we started working with all of these different ventures and different organizations, and we started partnering, we started doing some work, and we went through COVID together, right? We just started working with the youth for sexual health. We wasn't just handing out condoms, like we're teaching kids about sex. Shout out to Coach D for the like, that's a great example. Because these are conversations that we have every day, and it happens organically. Like we wasn't formally trained to be people's therapists, right? It just falls into our lap somehow, and we have to keep a straight face, and we have to like listen to people and like give them some positive feedback to help people get through whatever it is they're going through. Whether it's what the young lady was talking about, STD awareness, right? HIV awareness, diabetes awareness, all of these different things we've done. We have partnerships with Baltimore Ravens and talked about men's mental health and like physical health. So like the list just goes on for all the great opportunities and things that we get a chance to do, being a part of More Than the Shop. And so we're glad to be here, and like we're just glad to be a part of helping the community in any which way we can.
I remember the first training that we did. And if you remember, okay, some of you remember. And yeah, it was a fabulous training, learning from you. And for me, the biggest lesson, when I asked in terms of what training would you like to see? What should we prioritize? And what you said was dealing with trauma. That was number one. Remember, you rated as number one because for me, that was an eye opener because you consume so much trauma from the communities that you are and the stories that you hear. And that was really, really, really powerful. So where are you now in that area? Because the mental health situation has, exacerbated. So you've been doing sexual health. So I hear you're into harm reduction and also mental health. And you did amazing service during COVID. So tell us about that.
So, with that being said, that was great because one of the main focuses with Ward in the shop is solutions over problems. Right? So like, as we see with trauma occurs in so many different areas in so many different ways. But it's solution over problem. So with that, we have the great collaborations to work with individuals who come in and give us proper information to address and identify the various types of trauma. So in a day of an average barber, and these two gentlemen can attest to this, you could come in the morning and you could have your first person come in or one of your first people come in and someone in their family has just been murdered. Okay? And that person is pouring that into you. And you have to deal with that and assess that and bring forth some condolence, some support, as well as, you might have to refer them to a place for their family to go and inform them to how to go to the morgue, how to identify as well. And then a few haircuts later, the actual individual who committed that crime is coming to you for their service, and they say, I didn't mean to do it, I didn't want to do it. And that's just two individuals in that day before you close, and you might have another 10, 15 people in that one day that you had to deal with their issues as well as yours, and that has nothing to do with going home to deal with your own personal issues. Okay?
Yeah.
So with that, we had to bring, and understanding those, we had to bring individuals in to help us with our traumas, to address that so that we could be able to help others.
That's right.
Solutions over problems, as well as with sexual abuse, elder abuse, mental, physical, substance abuse, re-entry. And with these collaborations, we are educated, we are informed, and we can help the community as well as help us. Because what I've understood from being a barber, like saying I worked with all these older barbers, was they were great partners in the community, but they never collaborated. With a failure to collaborate, we didn't have no legacy barbershops to continue. After that senior passed away, he never informed or trained our barbers how to keep the legacy moving. So if you know better, you do better. So with us, we are collaborating. So if I have somebody coming to me and they moving and it's far and they might not have transportation, hey, you going to Baltimore County to my gentleman well. You going over East Baltimore, let me introduce you to Ralph. We keep that in the house. It's collaboration, solution over problems. We structure the community in these untraditional spaces.
Thank you. That was excellent. So I heard a couple of keywords or key things throughout, and it's trust, trauma, collaboration, and community. All of that is just kept resonating with me as I listened to all of you talk. Now I want to kind of turn to the audience. We've all been up here bapping and talking and sharing what we know. I want to find out how the community is receiving this. Do you guys have any questions? I'm live online check the chat to see if there's anybody questions. So if you all are watching this live and you have questions, drop it in the chat. I am monitoring the chat and we will ask our panel. But is there anybody that's here live that has a question?
It's good to be around juggernauts that I consider in the game. During COVID, I had started a group called Bosses in Partnership, BIP, because I'm from Nigeria but grew up in Baltimore. You know, I got used to haircuts being called a bib, and had this idea to bring, because during COVID, barbers was taking over the gram, and I wanted to bring, you know, like-minded individuals like myself and my brother and groups around me. So we came together. We were doing classes for youth in living classrooms during COVID when we were online. And so hearing about, you know, the work that y'all were doing is very impactful, because I was hearing that from the grapevine from healthcare, because I actually worked at Kaiser in 2018. And so to hear that you were reached out in 2015 before COVID even hit is crazy to hear, like you were doing work before everybody caught on to it. And so like my question is that, because, you know, I was studying public health, working in healthcare, but I really liked to cut hair. That's how I got down with the community and stuff like that. And healthcare companies, they were seeking out for barbers like aggressively, because even you learn in public health, even with the vaccine, you still need the community trust. So the vaccine is not the cure. The cure is the trust, which comes from the barbershop and the beauticians. And so my question, because you were really in a pilot phase where two industries married, but temporarily in a way, because a lot of funds got taken back after COVID. And so like from pioneering that space, what were some things that worked and didn't work as it relates to like at that scale where you have large healthcare companies now trying to work with barbers and beauticians in the community? Like what were some things that worked and how would you do it differently to just make sure they weren't coming in seeing you just as an opportunity, but they were trying to actually change the way they deliver health in general for the long term?
So,
That's an excellent question.
so with that being stated, due to the work that had been done, we understood that in the beginnings was the pilot for Good Health Rehab with Kaiser Permanente as well as with the city. And when the pandemic took place, I received a phone call from the mayor's office, the health department, as well as Hopkins. And if you notice, the last thing to be shut down in the city was what? Barbershops and beauty salons. So that was a conscious decision that started here that was discussed with everyone with that. And from there, due to the work and the trusted relationship, also More Than a Shop was the only organization in the Midwest and on the East Coast that actually provided COVID vaccine information and services. This is where we weren't with no third party. But that also brought forth security and strength for my trusted partners, because with the work that was being done, we also received regular financial stipends to help keep and maintain the structure. Understand? Because what we clearly understood was the government dictated that you could only go to what? Walgreens or CVS's, but we understand in our community there's not always a Walgreens or CVS, but there is a barbershop. And most people live within a 4-block radius. And if there's a barbershop that's trusted, that's providing the services, we have more impact. Because we're trusted individuals. And with that brought forth the help to bring forth the structure. So with you being a part of that and understanding, now you get the full scope of what was taking place due to the work. Like I said, being trusted information, we were given the right information, we wasn't passing off false information. You know, you had people with integrity, people who had trusted relationships, people who you build, you trust with, solutions over problems.
Well, basically, with what you're talking about when we went through COVID. Once everybody saw that the shops were bringing in these numbers of data, everybody and their mom came at everybody. So you got to stand on integrity and principle when you involve. Because if your name gets tarnished in any way, you can forget about cutting the sets of families that you've been cutting, the generational families that you've been cutting. So as all these corporate people are coming at you, you got to see what's real. And you got to test them because they want what you want. When you know your value when corporate comes at you, it's a different talk. It's a different nomenclature. It's different everything. And them coming at you, no matter what business side that they come at you, you'll find out who's real and who's not. Because they're going to have to agree to your terms, not to what they're presenting at you. You know, so they over time pluck themselves off. You know, because they don't want to abide by, or they're looking for a quick fix or a quick data. Well, my people don't move fast. And if I got to represent them, I got to represent them to the fullest. So if I feel as though the offer that whatever big name medical company offers me, I'll get back to you. I can't make no decision right there. I have to do a personal survey of my clientele. Then once I do that, I have to get the checks and balances through Troy. That's what makes More Than a Shop better than any other organization that I've seen around the country that's tried to merge these two cultures. Is that we put our egos to the side. It's no ego. We're all equal. So if I refer Rello refers me, you're getting top quality service. And that secures that whole network, no matter what the demographic is or tax bracket that they are, because they get that universal service and that universal treatment. So therefore, you have to convey that corporately when these people come at you with these grants and loans and propositions and I can give you this, I can give you that. Well, in my career, I'm past Sandx strips and carnival rides. I'm sorry, but I'm past that. I need tangible things that I can give to my community that will actually make a change. Because if I give you a test strip and it don't work, I gotta listen to that, and that affects my bottom line. So it has to be a balance between the two when you're making these propositions or contracts with these people. So you can do everything that you said that you were going to do in 2018 when you came up with your concept. You know what I mean? But have your standard when you're talking to these different people in these different companies. And if they're not putting it in writing, you don't want it.
Well, I mean, there's not much to follow up with that, with what these brothers just said, but, you know, everybody in here give a round of applause to yourself for making it through COVID, right? Because there was a lot of businesses that shut down. A lot of people are still upside down since COVID, right? And it seems like it was so long ago, but it wasn't, right? And so I'm grateful that we were all able to make it through that, right? But like the brother said, there's some financial gain that's not sustainable, right? And we have families to support. We have to put our children through college, right? We have a lifestyle that we have to live, right? And so sometimes short stipends are only temporary, right? And so we love having partnerships. We love engaging with these organizations, right? And we love giving information and making sure that our community is safe and like understand and have like real awareness about what health really means. But at the same time, like you said, you gotta have integrity about your business. And our businesses go on, right? Now that everything is clear that we back open, we still have to have those, we still gotta look people in their face. We still have to deal with that trauma. We still have newborn babies coming in, like, and we still have the older generation passing on. And so, it just is what it is. And I think they gave you some good advice, brother.
Thank you. We got one more question from the audience over here. So,
Peace. I am just so intrigued and happy to hear and see, Black men doing their thing. My organization, Ekbe Oya, was birthed during the pandemic, and we provide woman development services, mental health, social emotional health, all of it, the whole gamut. I would love to see some type of collaboration with you all. I hear it sounds like the bulk of your audience is men. Is that true? Men and women? Okay. What you say? Okay, you got a lot of women. I would love to facilitate some type of conversation between women in the rights and what we do in that whole therapeutic space and meant more than a shop. Like, are you all open to maybe doing a fireside chat or sitting down and having the men come together and kind of facilitate a conversation around the things that really go on in a barbershop? Sometimes I'm coming from the perspective of men and women don't really have an opportunity to just talk. Either you trying to talk like, let me talk to you, or or you on social media. So like being able to facilitate a larger conversation of like, hey, what do you really like? Can we close the tablet? Can we close the texting of the phone? Can we really dialogue? Can we have platonic conversations? And also, how do we navigate conversations about sexual health? Do you know how to have a conversation, a scenario of like when you want to get tested? Y'all might be talking, doing that thing on the hair tip, but what happens when they go home? Can they take that information and be able to relate it to their king or their queen? So I would love to collaborate in some way. If you're open to that, let's talk.
Can I comment on that?
Sure.
So, with what you're saying, believe it or not, we already do that on a day-to-day basis. All right? We do that on a day-to-day basis. One of the things we are in the pre-stages of, there will be a More Than a Shot podcast. All right? As well as we already have our regular monthly convenings with information and training sessions. So you are more than welcome to be a guest and you get to meet the ensemble with the More Than a Shot. But these gentlemen must abide with me first before we do that because this is our sacred space. Okay? But you're more than welcome. You have to find something else.
Okay, let's
You
go.
gotta get a secret invitation.
Okay.
Secret invitation. See
All
Mrs.
right.
Stanton after the podcast, okay? We have one more question up here.
My question more so was just kind of around when you have to have those hard conversations and you have like a intergenerational family going to you. So I always talk about my Uncle Alan. My Uncle Alan he's my great uncle. He's my grandmother's baby brother. And he's right on Liberty Heights and Window. So he cut all of his siblings and his sister's husband's hair. He cuts my dad's hair. I know when I had my son, his father went to go get his hair cut in my Uncle Alan shop, and then my son had his first haircut there. Still goes there, to get shape-ups and things like that. So when you have 3 or 4 generations going to you and you're trying to have a conversation around sexual health, like, how does that even go in a barbershop? Like, they come in, listen, they talking about this happened, man, here you go. Like, you got for 20 minutes, I'm going to give me a chicken box. Like, what does that look like? If you have some of those hard things go on.
It varies. That per se varies because, and I'm gonna speak from my experiences with these gentlemen, they can make their call. So it varies with the individual in the scenario that takes place. Some conversations isn't meant frequent, but then some is better on a one-on-one. But as a barber, you become a gauger and you understand how that is done and how to address that. So that's the way I address it. I'll let relevant people on there.
So right now, currently, I have a grandfather, a father, and a son that come in every Friday, right? And that's their time when they bond, right? Of course, the grandson is too young to have conversations about sexual health, but we do ask him little questions like, "You got a girlfriend in school, right?" But we keep it fun. We try to keep it like harmless because he's not of the age yet. But I do also have a few family members that are of the age, right? And yeah, it's difficult, right? But like I said before, prior we didn't have training, but now we do have the training, right? And so we learn little cues on how to be non-invasive and bring up certain, like, I can put a topic out for this whole room and I will be talking for the next 2 hours, right? And so this is what we do in the barbershop. And specifically when we have fathers or grandfathers, fathers and sons, like those are the best times in the barbershop because it's rare that you get to see that, right? We also engage with the women because I have like grandmothers and mothers, right, who come in and bring their grandsons, right? And so like these conversations that we have go across the board, but they are being had, they do happen regularly. And it's always positive. We always try to bring awareness, as much awareness as we possibly can to make it easier when people get home to have those conversations that, the barbershop is a place where what happens in the barbershop stays in the barbershop. And so, but in this situation, some of the stuff people are able to take it home with them, right? And have open dialogue and discussions about any topic, whether it's sex, whether it's death, whether it's trauma, whether it's drug abuse, whether it's peer pressure. So like generationally, like, yeah, those conversations are had in the barbershop consistently, regularly.
What about politics?
So there's three things that we're not supposed to talk about in the barbershop, and that's sex, religion, and politics. But guess what? The most three things that I'll talk about: sex, religion, and politics. So yeah, we get into it, right? And I'm not gonna make this about our current administration,
Right.
but we already know the vibes. Like we understand what needs to be done and how we need to stand together. We need to be made aware of what's happening around us. That's also what we do in the barbershop. We don't just talk about who's better, Jordan and LeBron, right? We talk about our leadership on the local level, on the state level, on the federal level, on the executive level. Like brothers have some information and some knowledge too. So yeah, we do that too.
I'm a little bit different. I'm a private barber. For decades, I go out and I pick my clients. I don't allow them to pick me. I use that network of people to go out and seek me, different clientele, and it's been working for me for a number of years. So having the whole family in the barbershop is very rare for me. But I do the families, the grandfather, the father, the son, and the son's son. Each one of them will have their own special appointment because they get their own little time. And sometimes, depending on the respect of the hierarchy of the family, you'll convey different things in different scenarios that need to be addressed within their family because you are a satellite of their family. You are that trusting word. You are that encouragement where that listening ear that they're telling their son or grandson, they are not listening, they'll listen to me. But you have to provide the venue for them to open up and be secure with your words, and you are secure with what they're telling you as well. So it's a little bit different for me. And sometimes I can get the message through, sometimes I don't. And I do report back to the hierarchy of the family on what was said to the ones that are in barbershop talk, 14 and under. If you're 14 and above, you're pretty much grown in the shop. So you have that unwritten rule of, I'm not gonna say nothing, but when I see your daddy, I'm gonna tell him on the low, So nobody is really out of the loop when it comes to correction or giving out educational things, because people are sensitive, and they're sensitive because of religion, what they're going through, their political views. Everybody is on edge now. So you in order to talk to different people on that levels of families, from the brother down to the son, you have to tread lightly, because that father might not want you to talk to their son about sex, even though that little boy come in there and tell you that he's burning this little girl up underneath the bleachers. You know, right? But that's the reason why they get that hunch that I need to talk to him. Somebody needs to talk to him. You know, but there, what I found out is that a lot of them have to have accountability. And if they don't have accountability, they're not going to reach out to the younger generation. You know, because remember the days, I'm 51, y'all. Y'all remember the days y'all used to go outside and play hide and go seek. 6:35, wanna die, they turned into hide and go get it. You know? So it's getting younger and younger and younger now. So the days that we used to go outside and play and do those things, they're getting bolder with it now. You know, so these conversations do need to be had, but most of the time it's with the adult versus the child.
Thank you for that, Mr. Exclusivity. All right. So in closing, we just want to wrap up and give you an opportunity to share as it relates to more than a shop. I always like to close with either something positive or what you hope that this movement will look like in, let's say, 5 years. Because I know you're doing the work, you've been doing the work. So just really quick, 30, 60 seconds of sharing either some positivity for our viewers or just what you would like to see more than a shop look like. And I'm gonna start with you. We're gonna end with Mr. Staples, you know.
Okay.
He's gonna take the mic.
Yeah, you're gonna drop the mic. 3 to 5 years, I want to see more than the shop have traveled across the country, right? Not just being duplicated as it is now, but also being like connected, directly connected, in Baltimore City being the home base for more than the shop. I want to see it expand possibly into other countries, need be, right? Because the unity and the connectivity is very, very important in the community, right? A lot of people don't even know that the barbershops are connected with the health department right now, right? They don't know that the barbershops are connected with the beauty salons right now. They don't know that we have a direct line of connections to certain organizations and groups. And so I just want to see it grow. There's no ceiling, right? I want to see it grow as high as it can possibly go, connect as many people as it possibly can, make as many people as more aware of sexual health, mental health, just health, overall health as possible. Like, I just want to see it grow to its maximum capacity.
Why? How would you think?
Well, pretty much the same thing. I can't come behind that even better. You know, my overall goal for the next 5 years is to try to see if we can get at least one representative or at least pamphlets in each shop in our city. It moves nationwide. Nationwide, it can be the same thing, but is to change the stereotypical type of what barbers really are. You know, that's my main goal.
All right, close it out for us, Mr.
Yes,
Staples.
sir.
Drop the mic.
There's nothing more to be said after what Will and Darrell said. For what's being done here to become the next norm, not just in the nation, but the world. As corny as it may say, you know, I see us being the next world food kitchen, whether it be with barbershops and beauty salons, but this will be the next norm that will set the template for what's to be done nationwide, worldwide. As long as we have the right collaborations and the great brothers like we do here, it's possible. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It truly is a pleasure to spend such wonderful hour with you all to talk about the role that you play, not only just promoting sexual health, but promoting health in general. And I know when we did training, when we collaborated, there were a few things that we did. We actually had
brochures, right, on sexual health. And we have, order your HIV test kit for home. We had one of these, where you can hide your condom. So if it drops out of your bag, it's in here, so no one would know it, right? So these kind of things. And the condoms were going so fast. Mr. Stanton kept calling, Ruka, do you have any more condoms? Like, God, I give you a whole bag full of condoms. So it goes fast. And which is really good, because that's what we need, right? We want people to really protect themselves. So the fact that it goes fast is actually fine, because people are protecting themselves. And the price of condoms are prohibited, because people are accessing it for free from us. So we continue to supply that with funding from Baltimore City Health Department that we have. But like you said, growing the work that you do more broadly, nationally, and Mr. Stanton and I did a presentation a while back, and it was unfortunately during COVID time. Mr. Stanton, remember, about the progress of the MTAS, and amazing quotes that we got from you all in terms of how this movement impacted you and your work, and impacted people in general that you serve as well. So I agree. We need to take this information more on the road. That's why we want to have this opportunity, and I'm sure the audience are appreciating this discussion. I know the live audience here, I see them nodding and see you really very much engaged, and I hope the audience there, virtual audience, are appreciating the conversation as well. So we are committed to expanding your work, not only in sexual health, but overall health promotion of the community, but also the maintenance of your community, of you yourself, in terms of how you take care of yourself and deal with the trauma that you experience, because you are valuable members of the community. And we thank you so much. And this is part of our continuation on health and men in Baltimore City. We heard you loud and clear, right? The last time when we had our conversation focusing on men and sexual health, that this is something that you want to see more of. And so we're delighted to follow up last month's conversation with this month's, right now, conversation featuring the most trusted members of our community and community. So thank you all for being with us, and we don't know what we're going to deliver next month, but we have to stay.
Well, next month is Men's Health Month, so I
And
think it'll
those
be a
of
part
you
three.
that are with the beauty industry, if you can come behind here, please, so that we can show you on video and take pictures together with these phenomenal men. So I call those of you that are members and willing to come and stand behind these fabulous men. Yes. And let's honor and recognize the phenomenal being that they are.
Oh, ladies first.
All right,
All right.
good. Stay right there.
Thank you, and take pictures. Absolutely fantastic.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm in the shot.
And us,
All right, now we'll add, we'll send them. A round of applause.
All right, wait a minute. Let me.
It's gonna be about
All right, let me end the stream.